Welcome back to Learn SKN, and today we are going to continue looking at the January 2022 POB paper 2. So the January 2022 POB paper 2. And so this is the last question on this paper, and we would have covered numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4. And so before we jump deeper into this question, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, share the content with your friends, with your family. Hit the bell so you know when Learn SKN drops another video. Alright, so let's just delve into this one right now. So this one is looking more at the Caribbean economies and technology and things like that. So the first question here is asking us, state two functions of Caribbean community or CARICOM. And so of course we can look at our textbook. We have a whole lot of stuff outlined about CARICOM. And so we have CARICOM. CARICOM was established by the Treaty of Chaguaramas in 1973, and so functions to facilitate growth of trade. That's one of the main reasons why we have CARICOM. It's a trading bloc, so it is there to facilitate trade among its members. So it's one of the key functions of CARICOM, to facilitate trade amongst its members. Also, to improve international competitiveness. So as a group of countries, we come together to trade with the outside world. And so working together helps us to improve our international competitiveness. Also, it is there to improve organization to enhance production. So it is there to improve production across its member states. So those are just some of the functions of CARICOM. Also, it helps to improve productivity, and it helps each country to achieve full employment in all aspects of production. Because remember, CARICOM nations can have movement of workers, so it can help to facilitate full employment. CARICOM aims to promote sustainable economic development and improving living standards, and to boost functional cooperation, encouraging greater understanding among its people. So all those are some of the functions of CARICOM. So I gave you more than two. They only asked for two. Right? So those are some functions of CARICOM, and you can find them right there in your textbook. Then they said, state two benefits Caribbean countries may enjoy as members of CARICOM. So they only want two, but there are quite a lot of benefits from joining CARICOM. Right? Such as, remember, CSME is also a part of CARICOM. Well, it's a part of the CARICOM, the whole Caribbean community. CSME is a part of that, right? CARICOM single market and economy. And so some of the benefits you can gain include things like, of course, free movement of people. And if there's free movement of people, then you have a wider base in which you can choose for employment. So businesses now can benefit from tapping into a larger pool of workers for employment, because no longer do you have to just send applications to just your country alone. You can send applications to the neighboring islands to get persons to come in and work. So right there, you're sorted. Apart from that, the market now for your goods has expanded. Now, instead of selling the goods to just your country alone, now you can expand that to all of CARICOM. So you have a larger base in which you can sell your goods, a larger market for which you can sell your products. So we have here some benefits of CSME. Give each country access to a larger market for its goods and services. So now you can sell to St. Kitts, Antigua, Trinidad, Jamaica, wherever. So everybody, because we're all one in a sense, we can sell amongst each other. So that's one. And two, again, employment. You can achieve full employment. So if you can't get a job in your native land, you can apply elsewhere with less friction. Once you have the proper qualifications, the proper documents, you can go and get a job elsewhere. Of course, it can help to improve the standard of living in the region. Now, from a business point of view, that means now that people earning more, they can spend more, and they can help to get larger sales. Okay, so that's three right there. Then benefits of CARICOM includes when it comes to trade, right? When it comes to trade, as I said before, it can improve your international competitiveness. It can get you ready for the international market. Hear what I say here. As a competition amongst its member states, that causes you to improve your quality. Because I'm competing with everybody in CARICOM. That means to be competitive, I have to improve my quality, right? So that helps us to be better on the international stage. Also, when we're looking at negotiations and things like that with larger countries, we can go together and negotiate as one trading bloc. So instead of one country going against the larger ones, America, Europe, things like that, you can go as CARICOM and help to negotiate. So you have a stronger voice together than apart. Increase production and productivity, right? Again, we can tap into each other for resources. So if I don't have this in St. Kitts, I can get this from Antigua, from Trinidad, from Jamaica, because all of us are working together, and so that can improve our production or productivity. So all those are just some benefits you can gain from joining CARICOM or from being a part of CARICOM. So that's 2 marks. You only ask for 2, so you just outline 2 quickly, such as the trading aspect, the marketing aspect, the job employment aspect, those things. Now D, define the term foreign direct investment. Define the term foreign direct investment, or FDI. So foreign direct investment, or FDI, is the long-term investment in a country by an investor from abroad. So FDI is a long-term investment in a country by an investor from abroad. That's the main thing. An investor from abroad comes into a country and invests heavily, invests for the long term, invests significantly. And so that's an example of, that's a definition of foreign direct investment. So when they come down, put down hotels, come down, put down a supermarket, whatever, they bring business to the country that has long-term implications. That's what we're looking at when we say foreign direct investment. Right? 2 marks for that one. Easy, simple, just like that. State 4 reasons why foreign businesses may be willing to invest in the Caribbean region. Why would they be willing to invest in the Caribbean region? So when we're looking at foreign direct investments and looking at it from the firm's perspective or the business perspective, there are a number of reasons why a business might want to invest in the Caribbean or invest overseas in general. Now, one such reason. So let's go. 1, growth, right? Grow the market. Firms might be tapped out in their local market and they want to expand. They want to get to a new market, and so they would invest in a foreign market so that they can expand their footprint, expand their presence within the global market. So just for growth, to export, things like that. So in essence, it's just growth potential. They see potential for growth, and so they choose to invest to expand their business. So that's 1. Of course, the next one, popular one, is to increase efficiency in terms of things like production costs, right? Production costs. Because you realize that across the world, different places, like the Caribbean, for example, labor might be cheaper than in America or Europe. And so a firm would relocate or invest in an area where their cost of production could be reduced, because labor fees might be cheaper in this area. And so to increase the efficiency, such as cost of production, they would invest in the Caribbean, right? Because the dollar versus the pound, if I pay somebody a minimum wage of, let's say, $270 in EC, that's only 100 US, right? So for a US company, that's cheap for labor, and so they'll quickly invest to save some money on production. If the raw materials that I want are close by, transportation costs might be reduced, so I might invest in a hub close to where the raw materials might be, things like that. So the bottom line is you would invest to save money, to save costs, to increase efficiencies. So that's 2. And next one is to basically get a taste of the local experience, right? You may want to get into a new market just to see how the locals do things, how the locals operate. So you broaden your company's knowledge. You broaden the scope of your company knowledge base. Improving knowledge base, because now you know, okay, I can operate in this market in this way because, you know, I invest here, so I know how they operate, and so I can do businesses in this area, right? Of course, there's the next popular one for tax purposes. You might want to invest in a country that has a lower tax bracket, a lower tax rate. You see it all the time. You know, they invest in countries because taxes are lower in certain areas. Not only just corporate taxes, but maybe, you know, tariffs might be lower in a certain area, or they want to escape tariffs, right? Instead of paying tariff to import, they can simply get the produce on the ground and save themselves all those extra taxes. So that's another reason why they might want to invest in the Caribbean, to avoid tariffs, avoid certain taxes, or for favorable tax options. And of course, financing options might be another reason why you want to invest. Sometimes the government in the Caribbean countries might say, come on, invest here, because, you know, if you invest here, tax holidays will put up maybe 50% of the cost, you bring the next half, things like that. And that might be a reason why they want to invest in the Caribbean. You know, you want to build a hotel in the Caribbean, let's say Marriott or somebody want to build a hotel, government say, okay, we'll give you a 20% investment, you bring the rest. So those options they may not be willing to turn down, and so that might be an incentive for them to invest in the Caribbean. So those are some reasons why, you know, a company might be willing to invest in the Caribbean, right? Expand the market, to reduce the cost of production, to absorb, to diversify, to, you know, the local culture, to avoid certain taxes, or to be in an area with lower taxes, to be closer to the raw materials and things like that. Okay, good. So that's a very easy enough one. Just want to state them, 4 marks. D, outline 2 ways in which human resource development could assist in reducing the economic problems of the Caribbean countries, or CARICOM countries. So we're looking at ways to solve some of the problems in the Caribbean, and one of the reasons stated would have been education or training, develop the human resource, and so that can reduce some of the economic problems in the Caribbean. So we're going to look at both the Econ textbook and the POB textbook for this one. Very similar content. So development of the human resource. So let's follow this here. Development of the human resource occurs through education, training, and experience. Human resource, or labor, is a key factor of production. Besides its obvious function in producing goods and services, labor is a driver of creativity, innovation, and technology. So right there we see how we can benefit. You can benefit the benefits of developing a human resource. It brings out more creativity, innovation, and it helps to utilize technology. The development of human resource helps with the problem of unemployment. So one of the problems is unemployment, and developing a human resource can assist in lowering the unemployment rate. Why? As people become more marketable and suitable for job positions, meaning, let's say that there's a friction between, you know, what jobs are available and the skills in the country. If you go and develop that skill in the human resource, then they can now fill those positions. So they become more marketable, they become more diverse, they become more robust in terms of fulfilling those skills that are needed. And so you can see right there how development of the human resource can reduce unemployment. They can also choose to become entrepreneurs. So you educate them, train them, and they can become entrepreneurs. And that they can, you know, if you're an entrepreneur, you can start a business and create jobs. Also help to provide more resources, more goods and services in the country. They can choose to become entrepreneurs and employers rather than employees when they have been educated and trained. Entrepreneurs stimulate economic activity and brings innovation in all areas, including rural development areas, thereby contributing to economic growth and development. This leads to a better quality of life for individuals and their families, and it allows for greater earning potential and reduction of poverty. So you can see how the development of a human resource can help in the overall scheme of things. Investment in human capital, provision of education and training will reduce the extent of poverty in these countries. It enables the poor to find jobs, earn an income, and increase the quality of life. Some examples of the government of Trinidad and Tobago investment in human capital are investment in University of Trinidad and Tobago, provision of free tertiary education, and those kind of things. So you can see how the development of the human resource can assist in reducing problems like unemployment in particular. Right? They train them, they're able to obtain new jobs. They are able to create new jobs. They are able to increase productivity in the country, increase production in the country, so the country now, not only unemployment, but now the country can reduce their reliability on imports. Now the country can reduce the import bill. The country's GDP can increase because productivity gone up. And so the country's GDP can go up if the human resource becomes more productive through training and education. So all these are ways in which you can see the human resource can reduce economic problems such as unemployment, the debt burden, and things like that. Right? So one of the solutions they stated is where you can use educated persons, skilled persons to expand your population. No longer everybody would want to flock up in the town areas. You can see if you have let's say you have a job in technology, you don't even have to work in the town. You can simply work in the rural areas, develop the rural area because you don't have to get the large infrastructure. So this can assist in population density. It can thin out the population because jobs no longer have to be in one main hub based on the industry you go into. So if you educate your people, train them in technology and things like that, all of a sudden you have people working in the countryside because the nature of the job doesn't require you to be in town. We're talking about good internet service, whatever, so the rural areas can become proper in terms of housing different businesses. That's the next problem that can help to alleviate. Of course, there are problems like migration, right? Migration. And some of the problems in migration is some reasons why people migrate is for things like they can't find a job. So if you train them, get them up to scratch with the skills required, then they have no reason to migrate, right? So they would stay home and get a job because they are trained and they can fill those blanks. Even so, when they become entrepreneurs, they stay, start their own business, so they have no reason to really migrate. So that can help to alleviate some of the problems in migration. I already mentioned the debt because the fact that the country becomes more productive, GDP increase, economic growth occurs because your population is highly skilled and educated. This can lead to a reduction in the debt in terms of you have more money now, GDP, you export more, you have less to import, things like that. So you can relieve the debt burden. And so we're going to these problems one at a time. Economic dualism. Again, if you educate those in the rural areas, those in the poorer areas, train them, then they can get up to standard with the other sector of the economy. And so that can basically eliminate the economic dualism where you have some people engaged in high technologically driven sectors and some still operating on a subsistence, low-tech area. Right? So those are some ways in which developing the human resource can improve, right? Can reduce some of the problems that some of the countries face. So I'm not only asking for two, but you just think about it. Think about ways that education, training, developing the human resource can reduce problems like debt burden, unemployment, population density, among other things, right? And you get your full marks for that one. All right, the last question on this paper, Explain two ways in which local shoe manufacturing firm can use technology to boost its production levels. A very easy one. So remember, we can utilize ICTs, computers, technology to assist in production. And there are a number of ways that this can be done. Remember, the focus here is their production levels, not marketing or anything, production levels. So if we look at ways in which ICT can be implemented in production, we have things like stock control tools, design of product tools, manufacture product tools. So you have a number of them. Stock control tools. So the shoemaker can utilize, software that can, keep his stock of raw materials up to date, fully tapped out, so that he don't drop the ball when it comes around getting the material to make his shoes. Right? For example, make sure you can use a system, a stock control system, to ensure that you have enough laces, enough rubber, enough whatever you use to make your shoes. So you can use these systems so that they can tell you, okay, you're running low on laces, you need to order some, or they might even automatically order these things, right? So you can use stock control tools to keep them abreast, keep them up to date, keep the records of the purchases, to keep the inventory up to date, things like that. They can use design tools like CAD, computer aided design. These can be used, you can use a computer system to actually design the shoes, so you can see a model of the shoe before you even use raw materials, waste materials to make the shoe, and then you realize, okay, me I like this design, right? So you can use computer aided design software, CAD, to actually create, modify, look at the model of the shoe in 3D rendering and things like that. So you can test the shoe, look at the color schemes, instead of actually making 5 different colorways. You make a black, red, purple. You say, no, okay, use the computer system, add this color to it, add this tweak to it. So you know that when you finally want to make a prototype, you're going to waste your resources. When it comes to manufacturing now, you can use CAM, computer aided manufacturing, that allows you to basically help them manufacture the shoe. So let's say you have a shoe that is, the same across the board. You can automate that production process, right? Make the sole, stitch it to the thing, get it on the line, the production line, whatever. You can use computers to actually produce your shoes now. So you can produce more shoes more efficiently in a shorter space of time, right? So all these are production tools that technology can be used, employed to help you with the production process, right? And so look at this one, CAD. Imagine using this system to design shoes, right? You can use it to design shoes. You can use the inventory management system or the stock control system to know when stocks are low, when to reorder, how much you have, so that you don't run out of things during the production process. And then you can use CAM, right? Computer aided manufacturing, to basically make your stuff in a fast, more efficient way, right? So those are some ways in which the local shoe manufacturing firm can use technology to boost production levels, right? They stress production in this case. All right, so that's it for this particular question. That's the end of the January 2022 POB question. You know what to do now? Like this video, subscribe to the channel, share the video, hit the bell so you know when Learn SKN drops another one. All right, so that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.